Thank you. Good morning. Let's try again. Good morning. And welcome to Old Trafford. My name's Tony Walsh, long fella, as I'm increasingly known. Are you that poetry bloke off the telly? Yes, that's me, and I have the honour of being your host for the first part of today, popping up later today as well. You may know me from the poem This Is the Place. I performed at the Bomb Vigil in Manchester. I had the privilege of doing that, and I performed here again at the One Love concert a few weeks later. I met Ariana Grande that day, I met Justin Bieber, I met Gary Barlow, and I kissed Katy Perry, and I liked it. It was a memorable day. Like Nicola Sturgeon yesterday, unlike Theresa May last week, I'm also prepared today. I have my throat capsules to get me through. Although, if you're going to lose your voice, a room full of healthcare professionals is a good place to do that. Welcome. Thank you for entrusting such an important role on such a momentous day to a poet. That must make you some pretty serious culture vultures at the Health and Care Partnership, would I be right? You look like a cosmopolitan bunch of metrosexual urban sophisticates. I appreciate it. I know it's hard to be a culture vulture. I know it's hard to be a culture vulture and a counter-culture vulture culture, but if we counter the counter-culture culture, we can culture more culture vultures all together now. It's hard to be. But you know, there's a serious point there about the importance of arts and culture in health and well-being, as we'll hear today. So welcome to Old Trafford for what is a momentous day, I think, a really important day. We have a real chance today. We have 250, 300 people in the room from all parts of the 10 boroughs of Greater Manchester. We have leaders here, budget holders, policymakers from all sectors. We have a chance to share best practice, to think about our devolved budgets, to solve some problems, to build partnerships, and to really go on to significantly improve the lives and life chances of the population here of this great city, Greater Manchester. People have worked very hard for this. They've lobbied, they've campaigned, they've fought, they've argued for many years to give us this opportunity. I think we should start by giving them a round of applause for getting us here today. I mentioned my poem, This Is the Place. News just in that the creative community in Manchester has come together and they've made this beautiful book that came out just a few days ago. It launches tomorrow night. Andy will be there tomorrow night. The funds are relevant today, that's why I mention it. Everyone's worked for free and the money goes in three ways. It goes to the emergency fund after the terrible arena bombing. It goes to Andy's mayoral homeless fund, and it goes to the charity Forever Manchester, who do excellent work across the 10 boroughs and who commissioned the forum in the first place. I can tell you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a £30 picture book that people bought signed sight unseen, and on the day it came out, which was a couple of days ago, it raised £140,000 for the three charities. So thank you everybody for your support. So I'm here today with a twin CV. You do have a conference pack there, and as well as being a poet these days, I worked for 18 years for Manchester and Salford City Councils in housing roles, regeneration roles, neighbourhood management roles, chairing many local partnerships, including health and social care, children and young people, and skills and training, the environment and so on. So I really do get what we're all about today. Some housekeeping, if I may. It falls to me to do some necessaries. I need my glasses today, excuse me. So now then. Please make sure you have a conference pack. If you haven't, then do please get one from the check-in when you came in there. That will remind you the breakout sessions that you've booked onto. If you haven't booked into, then you do have a chance to still book into those sessions. It's tight for time today, ladies and gentlemen, so if you could do all you can, please, to be ready at the end of each break to be promptly sat down for your next session. If you drove here and parked here at the cricket ground, then if you see, again, the staff on reception, they can help you get off the car park for free. They'll stamp your ticket or give you a new ticket. We're not expecting a fire alarm today. In case of fire, if you could use the stairwell, please. There'll be people there to help anyone who's unable to use the stairs, and we're going to meet at the front door downstairs. There's two breaks today, ladies and gentlemen. One is at 10:50 after this first session for 25 minutes, and one is this afternoon at 3 p.m. for 15 minutes. And all breaks will be upstairs in the mezzanine. There's no lunch today, ladies and gentlemen. No lunch. This is the north of England. We're having dinner. We're having... I'd like to thank John who wrote that joke for me. Thank you, John. Keep them coming. Dinner is at 12:15 for an hour. The toilets are back out through the reception on this level and back out to the lifts. Mobile phones, ladies and gentlemen, other such gadgets. If you have anything that goes beep, unless it's keeping you alive, could you turn it onto silent or off for us, please? Today will be filmed and live streamed, in fact. We're very with it, it'll be live streamed. People will be taking photos. If you're not happy with your image being used, if you could let the staff on reception know, and we'll protect your identity, as it were. Wi-Fi. If you were to log onto your Wi-Fi, you would find that the system is called Point. The user would be Point, P-O-I-N-T, and the password would be Lancashire 1864. We have a hashtag today, hashtag GM Leadership. Do feel free to use that. We'd ask you to refrain from tweeting in the workshops, please, ladies and gentlemen, as these are closed sessions for some detailed work. But you are very welcome to tweet in these large sessions here. Okay. I'm going to pop up twice today. I'm going to pop up at the end as well. And I'm using the poetry part of my CV today. I spoke about the fantastic opportunity that we have. I'm going to try, with your help, to crowdsource a poem with lines that you're going to give me across the day. You feeling poetic? Say yes, Tony. You feeling poetic? Nothing too challenging. Today's all about what sort of changes we can make and how we can make them. You see on the back wall there a sheet, we can, ... if. And you have on your table big wadges of post-it notes. If across the course of the day, right from these first speakers, if you think about the opportunities that we have today, the opportunities we have going forward, your role as leaders in this, what is it that we can do and what is that dependent on? So you might come up with simple lines, not poetry, just simple lines. We can achieve, ... if. We can solve, ... if. Develop, help, improve, change, devise, care for, influence, control. I'm going to try and turn these into something poetic. Alleviate, support, enhance, increase, decrease, eliminate, transform, motivate, empower, devolve, energise, and this is Manchester, sort. So get it sorted, ladies and gentlemen. So if you could indulge me, please, by crafting those lines across the day, stick them up on the sheet at the back there. Do spend some time on the back wall, see if you're inspired by the other lines there, and I'll disappear about 2 o'clock, turn up at 4 o'clock with that, hopefully crafted into something which sums up the day and sends us off in a good way. I'm claiming to be a poet. I'd best prove those credentials, if I may. I'm going to start with a poem. The poem, This Is the Place, was commissioned by an excellent organisation. I've mentioned them already, Forever Manchester, the Community Foundation for Greater Manchester. They do excellent grassroots work right across the 10 boroughs of Greater Manchester. Lots of it linked to health and well-being. They've commissioned a few poems from me over the years. This is another one. It's called Silver Sparks. It was written for their 25th anniversary, which of course is their silver anniversary. So I took the idea of silver and I spoke about a silver spark of creativity bouncing around this conurbation. And yes, we know it turns up in culture, but it turns up on our sports fields. It turns up in engineering. It turns up in social reform. It turns up in culture. It turns up in science. It turns up in lots of fields. So I'm going to share this today in the hope of summoning up, capturing that spirit of creativity, which we're going to need today, and we're going to need to take us forward. As a performance poet, I always get nervous when people aren't clapping when I introduce a poem. Could you give a bit of support, please, ladies and gentlemen? Thank you. So my friend and colleague, poetry colleague Lemsey Say, talks about how the word inspire is linked to the word expire, and it's related to breath. And I look round and I can see a big chunk of the conurbation here. I can see the hills. And I don't know what it is in this part of the world, but it's an amazing part of the world. We're only a small city region at the end of the day. But what we've achieved in terms of, as I say, science, engineering, health, public reform, sports, culture, has been amazing. There must be something in the air, ladies and gentlemen. Can I encourage you to take a deep breath, please? Don't forget to let it out. And let's breathe in the greatness in the air. Let's stand on the shoulders of giants and let's ping some of our own silver sparks around today. Here we go. Manchester. There's a secret to this amazing place. They beam a stream of dreams, it seems, from deep in outer space. And when they meet the atmosphere, they turn to silver sparks as the spirit of Greater Manchester that sets this place apart. Yeah, they beam it down at Jodrell Bank and they keep it underground in the fault lines and the salt mines, and from there they feed it round, and so it's beamed from Stockport Pyramid to the top of Winter Hill, from Werneth Low to Wigan Pier to Beetham Tower until they bounce it up to Ramsbottom, and from there they shoot it down, and the tower sparks at Heaton Park to the Arndale roof in town. And it's stored in dead cool reservoirs underneath the northern quarter, where it sparks its creativity and leaks into the water. And they ping it down the bus lanes and the wires above the trams, and it zings between the silver earrings worn by all the mams, and they fire it right up Deansgate, and it rocks down Oxford Road, and they work it round a circuit till it's ready to explode. And Bury, you got Bury in the room? And Bury, Fizz is busy with it. Wigan, Trafford, Bolton. Tameside's on the same side as the Salford Loop to Oldham, and it hot tails up to Rochdale, and to Stockport and to Hyde, and all the Manx fill up their tanks and breathe it deep inside. And we buzz off how it nourishes and satisfies our needs, and we love the way the signal won't reach Liverpool. Sorry, Mike, where is he? Or Leeds. Maybe I need to apologise to Andy there as well, I don't know. And it leaks from us as brilliance. It pours from us as light. It fires us and it inspires, and it's why we burn so bright, and it's why we shine like silver, and it's why we shine like steel. Its laser beams make crazy dreams and zeal to make them real. So there's silver in the trophy room on Sir Matt Busby Way. There's silver at the Etihad. And more to come, they say, with silver Wigan Warriors, and silver at the Latics, and silver on the zips of Bellevue Speedway leather jackets, and there's silver in the teaspoons of a million friendly brews, and there's silver invitations here to dead posh trendy do's, and there's silver shining microphones and silver loud guitars, and silver in our restaurants and pubs and clubs and bars. And when silver falls on mirror balls, it makes the city shine. And dancing feet just stamp the beat. Tonight, the city's mine. And it bounces off the scaffolding, it bounces off the cranes, it bounces off the gasworks, and it sparkles in the rain. Yeah, it sparkles on the drizzle days, enough to make us proud. But it fills our hearts with silver sparks when the sun shines through the clouds, and then the pavements shine like silver, and it bounces off the slates, and it fills the eyes to mesmerise and energise our greats. And it sparkles on our rivers and canals until they gleam, and it turns the grey Mancunian way to a boulevard of dreams. So we've polished coal to diamonds, forged iron into steel, spun cotton into cotton knop, and listened to the wheels of industry, of commerce, of culture here and science, and listen to the DIY not have a go defiance of great Mancunians who decide to get things done, and we spark off one another with faith and fire and fun. And it's always sparked philanthropy. It's always sparked the deals. It sparks inside the sleeves rolled up types, shoulders to the wheels, and it's always sparked the funders. It's always sparked the minds of engineers with great bright ideas and genius of all kinds. And yeah, it sparkles in the Mondays and it sparkles in the roses, but it sparkles in forgotten kids, like gods with snotty noses. And it sparkles as the self in those who've only known self-doubt. And it sparkles as potential when we're starting off with now. And there's so much shining silver here. Imagine what it's worth. Just add it up. It creates this greatest place on earth. So tell us your ideas. Let's spark new solutions. Come on, Manchester, Greater Manchester. Let's spark revolutions. We'll light a beacon, feel the heat, and loudly, proudly say, here's to another 25 years of doing it the Mancunian way. Greater Manchester, this is the place. Just feel this city's powers. We'll light the dark with silver sparks. Tonight, the city's ours. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So that's what I'm talking about. That's the spirit of this place. That's the energy that hopefully we have in this city, that we have in this room today. And let's take that inspiration through to the health and care agenda today. Welcome to our new delegates. Welcome. Do take a seat. Okay, we move on now. We have 4 speakers, each with a 10-minute presentation to set the day up. And then we have a Q&A afterwards. We'll have microphones and we'll be fielding your questions. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, can I invite you to welcome, please, with a welcome and opening comments, Lord Peter Smith, Leader of Wigan Council and Chair of the Greater Manchester Health Social Care Special Partnership, whatever B stands for, I beg your pardon. Thank you. Sir Lord Peter Smith.